time today, talk about all his journey as a content creator, as a digital nomad, and all these things that he's doing at the moment in Croatia. That's great. All right, guys. So we're gonna go live on YouTube and Facebook. We are live now. All right, cool. Let's get Savio on board, and we can have an amazing time together. There you go. Invited Savio. Where is Savio? He's gonna join us in a minute. How is everyone doing? Send a message, engage, share this live with your friends.
Hey, brother.
How are you doing?
How's it going, mate?
Doing good?
Yeah, good, man. Let me just adjust the volume here. Give me a second.
No problem.
All right. What's going on?
Oh, man, a lot. A lot going on, but it's cool, Like, it's good that we have projects and stuff to do. Otherwise, we get bored.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. Absolutely.
How's your day? Good. What time is it there?
It's around 1:30 p.m. here today. I went out for a walk, grab a cup of coffee. I've got a lot of times on my hand here in Croatia, so I'm reading books, studying, watching videos, making some connections with people in Portugal, my final destination. And it's been a lot of fun here, right. Despite of the environment, despite of the weather. It's been really cold.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's great. That's great, Sam. Thanks for accepting my invitation to come here and have a chat on this new project I have, Talk Creators. And the whole intention of this thing is just, get creators from around the world, content creators, people that are on the digital, part of the internet and the world, I mean, and that create content and do everything, share whatever they do in life and whatever they feel like, whatever they love. And that's the main thing. And also sharing experiences and sharing knowledge for someone, like, and at least one is going to learn something from us today. So that's the whole intention of this live. And welcome. And to start, I just want you to introduce yourself for us, where you're from, your name, and what you do, and what's your project, and yes, just go for it.
Absolutely, man. And thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. But before I introduce myself, tell me, how's the summertime in Adelaide?
I'll tell you something, that the summer just started, because we had 2 days, like 2-3 weeks ago, that was very sunny, and they thought, okay, summer is on. And then eventually started raining for a week, very cold for a week. And I thought, oh, that was too good to be true. But it is very hot.
Welcome to Adelaide.
It is very hot and dried. It's a dried weather compared to Sydney, but it's still good. There's nothing to complain. It's an amazing place to live. I'm still getting used to it. We go to the beach more often because we're so used to the northern beaches. But we're just getting used and understanding more the Adelaide area as well, driving around. But that's awesome. That's beautiful, man.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, Adelaide is a very interesting city. Climate-wise, it's not as hot as Sydney and other parts of Australia, but it's a beautiful place. I totally agree with that. But let's get straight into it. Who am I? I'm a Brazilian guy, as Arthur has already mentioned before. I come from a place called Fortaleza. It's on the northeast coast of Brazil. It's a very hot place. In fact, we don't even have winter there, okay? So it's hot all year round. And that's the environment I grew up in. About 10 years ago, I decided to leave Brazil and have an experience overseas. I went to New Zealand, then ended up going to Australia after a few years. And from that point on, I've been traveling and living in a bunch of different places. And last October, 2 months ago, I was still living in Australia, but then decided to make the move to Portugal for family reasons. And here I am halfway through my journey to Portugal. I decided I didn't want to go straight from Australia to Portugal. I wanted to take my time. So here I am. I'm traveling Europe. Went to Istanbul first for a month, then another month here in Croatia. Then I spent a few weeks in a different country. It's still, a secret. People, you know which country is this tomorrow.
That's cool,
Yeah,
guys.
Friday.
Guys,
Yeah,
go
tomorrow.
on the top there. You can check his page, follow Savio just to check his journey as well, right?
And that's the summary of who I am. I'm a traveler. I'm a content creator. I'm a writer, and I basically help people and businesses how to craft their story in such a way that their audiences want to listen to them, want to engage with them. So that's basically who I am.
That's the whole story about it. That's awesome. And yes, I love your work, man. It's unbelievable. It's really good. And you show the good, the whatever you go through, like all these things, you give a lot of advice to people when travel around, when doing stuff, and especially professionally as well as a digital nomad, as you can share all your experience as a content creator. And it's really good, man. It's really good. I love the this kind of thing because I do work online as well, and the online world is amazing, isn't it? What do you think? What do you think about the like this all online thing in the near future? What do you think is gonna happen for all of us?
That's a great question. I think nobody knows what's going to happen. It's the future is kind of uncertain to a lot of us, and I think that's just reality. We can't go against reality, right? People need to adjust, need to be more adaptable, and need to to be more creative with their work-life balance, lifestyle, how they are going to make money, how they are going to work on their career. It's a beautiful time, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I think our parents and our grandparents, they had a more stable life. Everything was so predictable, right? You need to wake up at 7 a.m., go to work, stay there for 8 hours, then come back home, prepare dinner, have dinner with the family, go to bed, and then next day repeat. Nowadays is a different story, and it's way more dynamic. It provides us a lot of opportunities for growth, a lot of opportunities for collaboration. What we are doing here now, having this conversation from one corner of the
Networking,
world
yes.
to the other corner of the world. I think it's great. Do I think I'm gonna work remotely my entire life? I think so. I don't see any possibility of myself going back to the old
Nine
school
to five.
yeah, to the 9 to 5 trap, if you like. But I'm open. I'm open to new opportunities. I'm going to be living in Portugal. I've got clients in Australia, as you know, and I've got clients in Europe. So I think this is great. If 2022 will be differently, that's for sure. I don't know how different it will be.
Well, always gonna like I see the internet something that's as you mentioned is you can't predict it. You just have to wait and see, But one thing I can say that is here to stay. So I mean, if we start, I think everyone has to get used to it because it is something that's like brushing our teeth, right? Wake up in the
Absolutely.
morning and do these things because I mean it is amazing and people like eventually, especially with all these situations that happen in the world, we can't say that those words in a live on Instagram because they cut us. So all like whatever these situations that happen in the world now, we forced us to use the internet more than ever. So stay connected through internet and using Zoom for meetings and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of people that never thought about using it are using a lot, and you won't get rid of it, ever. So I see the internet being a big change for all of us, and I think everyone should get ready to be in front of the camera. That's
Absolutely, man. I totally agree with you. And one thing that's very interesting is some people they get hung up on this whole discussion between which one is better, having meetings face to face in person or having meetings online in front of the screen. And I personally think it's a meaningless conversation. It's not one that is better than the other. That's according to personal preferences. The thing is, they are different. That's the thing. And whether it's face to face, in person, or in front of the screen, you need to be ready for it. That's real life. There is no way to get around it. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, like we will never have this conversation if it was not the internet. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It is so handy. It is so easy. And another thing, like I see, like a lot of people. I mean, my point of view on my Instagram and on my social page, I never look for followers as well. It's funny because I look for people that really like my content. So I don't look when I post something. I don't look for views. You know, I just enjoy the process. You know, so I enjoy the process. I just create and do some stuff that I like doing. And I mean, when you do something you like, it is pretty much halfway there already. You know what I mean? So that's what I do on the internet and also work-wise. So you do what you like. As you probably, what kind of work you do normally? Like you work for companies, you have your own business, or you do work as for in more than one company. How that is?
That's a good question because it has changed a lot since last year. Um, I was hired back in October 2020. Yeah, could have been a year ago or something. I was hired by a company called Boomer Group in Australia to help them with communication skills. So they are basically a communication skills company. They've got clients in Australia. They've got a good client base in Asia, also in a few countries in Asia, India, China, Singapore, Thailand, and a few others. And I started working with them. What they do is communication skills purely. And what I've been developing my skills on is storytelling. So by working for these guys, I'm able to combine both skills, and I'm able to practice my craft on a daily basis. So since then, people started reaching out to me and asking for advice, asking for help, and I started my own consultancy company on the side. But long story short, yeah, these guys, they are sort of my main clients back in Australia. And it takes up a lot of my time. It takes up to 20 hours of my week. And on the side, I do smaller projects for people and smaller brands, again, who want to communicate in such a way that their clients not only listen to them, but also want to engage with them. So that's basically what I do.
It is so funny, this type of engagement, right? Because that's something we learn when we create videos. Because it is something that, okay, cool. Let's say you're drinking coffee, right? You're drinking water, whatever you're drinking, right? So let's say you can have thousands of different ways to say that you're drinking. You're hydrating.
Yeah.
You are slurping. You are all the ways you can say that you are drinking water. But if you take those words and say drink, that's much more like it's easier to understand, it's easier to absorb. So when you create a script for a video, you try to find words that most of the people will understand, right? Like pretty much all of us will understand. And then this kind of scripts, when you create a script, you try to be, they say that we have to unlearn English to create a script, to be more relatable to people. So, and it's funny, the storytelling, because you can, on video wise, you can create a story that people will relate, even if they don't like what is inside the video. So they watch the whole video even if they don't like, because the storytelling is so interesting and so engaging that they will watch the whole video. That's how these people go crazy on internet, and they get very famous with views, because the video is so engaging, but the actual content is not. It's not. Some people don't care about whatever is in the video, but they get so hooked to the storytelling, right?
Absolutely. Storytelling has everything to do with human behavior and psychology. That's why it works. Some people use it in very good intentions, in very good ways. Some people in not so very good intentions. but at the end of the day, storytelling is how we communicate from our most primitive times, hundreds of thousands of years ago. Um, our brain is wired for storytelling, right? That's why still today, in a day and age of short attention span and distractions and a lot of madness, we still stay for 2 hours in front of a TV watching a movie, right? So that has to do with the storytelling structure in which the movie was built upon.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to the other media outlets. It goes on to the other channels, Twitter, video, Instagram, LinkedIn, Medium, Telegram, you name it. It's how we communicate. Some people, they try to sugarcoat it. They try to make it very extravagant, and it doesn't work. Some people, they just use authenticity and simplicity, and it works because that's how human beings communicate.
Yes, so I totally agree, and it's funny because you mentioned about the short span, right? And I see that as anxiety. A lot of people are too anxious on the phone, so they sit on the couch, they get the phone, they slide too quick. That's why, like a lot of social medias and people say, "Hey, I got 10,000 views on my video." Yeah, that's awesome. You got 10,000 views, but you know what? Some platforms count 3 seconds as a view. So a lot of people just watch 3 seconds, my friend. So they didn't really watch your video. So it's just a number. That's how I see it. So for me, on my videos, that what I do, I see the how many people share the video and how many people save the video, right? Because for me, that's an important number. See, if my video is important to someone, they will save and they will share and they will like, the heart, they will like as well. But I mean, when you share something, that means it's really cool, you liked it, and you're going to share to your friends. That's the most powerful one. And then when you save it, that means you liked as well, you want to save on your videos. So Instagram, I always look at those 3 points. I never look at the number of the views though, because some videos I get 100 views and more shares than the videos I have 5,000 views. So it's very interesting, that point, and that's what I take in consideration every time I post a video. So it is a way of doing as well, take it simple and creating simple stuff, simple content, and easy to absorb. But back to your life, my friend Savio, man. So you are in Croatia now, and tell me about your book, because you wrote a book, and that book says it's called Journey as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's talk about the book now then. Yeah, that was almost 10 years ago when I started writing the book. I didn't have a time frame. I didn't have a deadline. A lot of people started bugging me online, asking me if when I was going to write a book. And at the time I was, I just laughed it off. I thought, I'm not a writer. My Portuguese is not even that great. I've never written a book in my life. Why are those people asking me if I'm going to write a book? But then, people started asking the same question over and over and over again. And then one day I thought, you know what? I might be able to write a book. I've got a lot of text, because at the time, and that's interesting, huh? At the time I used to write, but as a therapy. I had no intentions whatsoever of publishing a book. I used to write on an Evernote app on my tablet, just as a way of taking my thoughts and putting them on paper. And that relaxed me when I was traveling in Spain back in 2013. But then when people started me if I was going to write a book, I looked back at my Evernote files, and I had almost half of a book already written. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. Maybe that's possible. Maybe that's possible.
Maybe I can finish it.
Yeah, exactly. And connect the stories and make it, flourish as a book. But then on the same day that I had that thought that I could write a book, at the same time, a lot of fear took over myself, right? I started thinking about, you know what? My Portuguese is not even that great. I'm not a writer. What if people don't like my stories? What if people don't buy the book? who am I to write a book? So I started asking me all those questions and doubting myself. And, somehow I got past that initial fear and years later ended up publishing the book. But if I can leave one message to the people watching us today here who are, considering writing a book in the future, or even writing articles for LinkedIn and Medium, or writing whatever they want to write, try to step away from the fear and sort of zoom out a little bit, because more often than not, fear is just an illusion. It's not real. We create that illusion inside of our minds, and some of us believe on it. And if we believe on that illusion called fear, we don't move ahead, right? We don't move forward. And if we don't move forward, nothing happens in life. So yeah, I wrote a book. It's called, it's in Portuguese only so far, but I'm working on an English version of the book. But it's called The Journey: Stories and Reflections of a One-Way Trip. That's the book.
Man, it is awesome, man. You know what? And you start mentioning about the confidence, right? Being confident on yourself. Say you worried about being judged. You worry about what people are gonna say. You worried about okay, cool. I'm not a good writer. I never wrote anything, but always there is a start to something, right? So that's how I think that you notice that you wrote half the book and then okay, cool, I can finish it. And then that's the thing, like traveling overseas as well, doing like living in another country that you never, been before, or even never traveled overseas. And then you come and say, what if this, what if that? There is no what if. And that's how you have to do. I mean, a lot of stuff in life, man, you have to just go for it. I mean, not worried about what people are gonna say, and forget about others. If you're confident and if you know what you're doing, you just go for it. I think it's a good idea of doing. I was talking to some friends before, and because I have some stuff that I sell on Amazon, right? And I wanted to learn how Amazon works, and I didn't know. So what I did, I went to Alibaba and I bought products from China, right? Before I learned Amazon. And then what that made me learn Amazon, because the products were about to come in 3 weeks. So I had 3 weeks to learn everything. When the products were here, I had to put it on Amazon. So I spent that money to make me work for it. So that was a good trigger, let's say. And yeah, but that's awesome, Savio. It's really great. Tell me something. How many countries have you traveled in his whole journey? Because the journey is about the book, right? The journey is about the countries that you've been, right?
That's right. That's a good question. I wrote the book back in between 2013 and 2018, when the book was actually published. But the whole story of the book, the plot, goes from 2008, when I left Brazil for the first time, all the way up to 2016. So it's an 8-year period of my life where I decided to sort of break out of my bubble, my social bubble back in Brazil, and live a different life. So I went to around 8 to 9 countries. Yeah, Australia, Indonesia, Spain, Portugal, France, Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia. So yeah, eight countries basically.
Yeah, that's awesome. You see who joined here? Mastermind Club. You know who is Mastermind?
Mastermind. Yeah, it's your group of people back in Australia, right?
Yes, that's right. So Mastermind are the boys. All men, is a group of men we created, because men is not always keep stuff to themselves, right? Always like they don't share stuff, especially in a relationship. Sometimes they don't want to open their hearts and talk about whatever is happening. So we create these projects, a group of men. We help each other in growth in business, and we have an amazing project. It's called Mastermind.club. You guys can join there, go online, check the website. There is a journey, 7 steps to the success, right? So we're gonna help from scratch someone that doesn't know anything about business, doesn't have any idea how to be a businessman. We're gonna help from the scratch to go to the success from the beginning until like learning how to create business. Because the first step is having a coach session to learn about what is in here and what's happening. Fabiano Rangel is our coach. He's on the live and he's gonna make it happen as well. So it is an amazing project. We're working for it. And Savio, anytime you want to talk about it, just come on board. We're gonna talk. We can talk. You can collaborate with us and be part of the project as well if you're happy to. But yes, you mentioned a story about a place you went in your journey. There was a school that you worked for, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Can
So you read the book, right?
You sent me. You
read
me
the
some
book.
photos. Sorry.
You read the book, right?
Of course. That's cool. That's cool. Can you tell me about that school? You sent me some photos as well about that school, right?
Sure. That was back in 2015, man. It's been almost 7 years. I was traveling in Southeast Asia at the time. I had left Australia, and I was traveling Southeast Asia. Had no plans. I was just traveling, just enjoying life, and trying to learn about new cultures and languages. So I ended up going to Vietnam, to the south of Vietnam, to a city called Ho Chi Minh City. In Ho Chi Minh, it's a massive place, okay? The population there is about 10 million people. So it's a massive city. And somehow I found a place, because at the time, I have to say this, at the time I was exchanging my work for accommodation food. So I was teaching English as a volunteer teacher, and in exchange, I was getting either accommodation or accommodation and food. So I was hired by this school in Vietnam in the outskirts of Ho Chi Minh City, right? It was the way the city is divided, that they divide the city by districts. So district 1 and 2 is where everything happens. Nightlife, hotels, restaurants, everything, right? And then as you move away from the center, right, the city is spreading out. It's getting more, it's getting less vibrant and less dynamic, right, and less modern. And it's getting older, and you're going into these slums, really poor communities and stuff like that. And I had no idea of that. And even if I had, I don't think anything would have been differently. But the actual place I was, invited to teach English was in District 10, about 2 hours from the middle, 2 hours from District 1.
When you say District 10, that means they were numbered, or because the name was District 10?
That's the thing, right? So imagine Adelaide, where you live. So the CBD is in the middle, and as you move away from the CBD, is District 2, 3.
All right, they are numbered.
Yeah,
right.
It's divided by numbers that way. And it took me almost 2 hours to get there by taxi. Obviously, traffic was really bad, so it wasn't only the distance, but also traffic jams all over the place. But and I lived in that district for a month. Nobody could speak English besides myself and the lady who hired me. And it was a very simple place, right? This lady called me. She had a house, and she built a classroom on top of her house. And that was her entire school, only one classroom. But man, people in Vietnam, likewise, people in most Asian countries, they are so driven because life is so hard. So they need to learn English as a way to get out of that life.
To get out of that life, right? Yeah. To have more options, right?
To have more options, absolutely, and to pursue something better than they had before. So my students back in Vietnam, man, they were amazing. They were amazing, and I have a lot of stories about the students. Right on the first days, we got along really well. So they started inviting me to go out and have street food with them every evening. It was great. It was really, really cool. But at the same time, a very eye-opening experience to me, because you know, I come from Brazil, but I had never seen anything like that in my life before, right? It's a different reality, a different way of life. And I was speaking English, but I was also learning a lot of things from them.
So, question: how did you feel that right moment when you were doing this, when you see the progress, the happiness, or whatever you felt from the kids and people around you at that moment? How was your feeling?
Um, it's a very overwhelming feeling because you are in a different environment where nobody speaks English in the suburb. I mean, the students, they could speak, you know, basic English, but nobody else could. And the food is different, the environment's different, the culture is completely different from anything I had experienced before. But then if you add to that equation the fact that I was helping them and they were very grateful to me, and in return they were, you know, telling me their stories and they wanted to be my friends, and I could see that my classes had a lot of meaning to them and the experience had a lot of meaning to me. So it was a very different experience. I had never experienced anything like that before in my life. After that experience, obviously I taught English in other countries, and I had similar experiences, but back then it was a very rewarding experience. It's something that I was, although I was the one offering volunteer work, I have a feeling I was the one, you know, who was most benefited from the experience.
Yeah, that's great. That's why, like, when you have good heart and you wanna help people, that's what you get back, right? So you help with your heart. You don't expect anything back. So that's the best thing of it. And I learned that through my journey in NAS Academy, the academy I worked, I studied at, and I won a few courses there, and I used that as a credit, and I gave away for people that couldn't afford it. So one of the guys was a guy from Nepal, and he was a teacher. And he and he's impressive. The place he was teaching is like the middle of nowhere. It's just a tiny brick house with like 2 rooms, and they used to go for walks in the literally in the is the big mountains and stuff far from the city, man, very far. And he showed me videos and stuff, and he wanted to win the course, and he won the course by giveaway, and he used to power his computer with a solar panel. So
Wow.
see how life is. Like, sometimes you see these situations, you want to help more and more. That makes you feel like, okay, cool, this is just the beginning. you know that's one of the reasons I start giving away all the credit I won from the academy, because I knew that in Australia here is much easier to afford a $30, $50, $40 course that you can pay for it here in Australia. But people in Nepal, in India, and so all those Bangladesh and all those places, it's hard for them because they have those rules in the country. Like Bangladesh, you can't use credit cards to buy from overseas. So you
Wow.
never allowed to buy stuff from any other country. You know what I mean? So it is hard for them. So that's why I try to help those people to get into it. And it is funny because they gave 5 courses away, and those 5 people now are content creators. They create videos, they create content, and they got jobs, and they start making money, and they are very happy. So that was the payback for me. See them growing and being better, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's very rewarding. It's very meaningful to both parts of the equation. And I think what you're doing with your course it's great. We had a conversation before back in Adelaide. Remember when you told me, sorry, I won a prize, I won a course for free. It was a competition or something like that.
Yeah.
And I gave to a guy in Nepal. When you told me that, I was like, man, if you put things into perspective, as you mentioned before, it's so much affordable to us, right? Who
Yeah.
make money in Australian dollar or in euro
Yeah.
or in American
Right.
dollar. For those guys, $40, it's a massive amount of money, right? They would probably spend 2 or 3 months to make that money, to make that money. So that's a great way to leverage other people's potential, helping them with knowledge.
Man, it is funny because before I give away the credits I had, a guy contacted me and said, "Hey, there is a course there, the confidence, learn how to present yourself in front of the camera." He said, "You did that course, right?" I said, "Yes, I did." And he said, "Oh, how is that course? Because I can't afford it." The guy was from Nepal as well, and I didn't have the credit. I didn't have the credit that time, but I always had a good heart. So he asked me that, and I said, "Hey, the course is good, and I love the course." And yes, he said, "Just give me some tips and stuff because I can't afford it." And then I didn't even get back to him. I didn't even go back to him at that time. But what I did, I went to the NAS Academy website. I contacted the guys. I said, "Hey guys, I want to buy a course for someone. What do I need?" They said, "Oh, I need the person's email and the phone number." And I said, "Okay, cool." And I bought the course. The guy received an email, and I said, "Hey, just check your email." He got the email and said, "Man, you're changing my life." And you know what happened? This guy did the course. He won the first place. He won $500 in credit on his profile, right?
Wow.
He got a job to work as a video editor, right? And he texts me, and he texts me pretty much every week now saying thank you. And he said, "Arthur, my dad used to work full time and extra hours to make $200 a month in Nepal. He worked his whole life to make $200 a month, doing normal hours and extra hours working on weekends. And now, because of you, I got a job as video editor, and I'm getting the first month as a trial, $500 a month." So, you know what I mean? And I thought, what I did at the very beginning, that attitude, that thing, that to do it, to make it happen for them, because you can. If you can help, why not? So I did it, and man, now he's like an amazing video editor, and he's growing so much. So that's, for me, it's good. I'm so happy for him, and that's just the beginning, as I said. So it is amazing, man, as you did like in the school there and helping people, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the internet, when the internet came about 20 something years ago, nobody had any idea of what to do with the internet. And nowadays, it's a way of communicating and interacting with anybody at any time, anywhere. So if you have something of value to share with the world, either be shooting videos, writing, providing lessons, consultancy, whatever it is, even handcrafts, things like this, right? If you have this talent, my advice number one is open up an Instagram account or a LinkedIn account according to your business. You got to know where your audience is, if they are mostly on Instagram or mostly on LinkedIn or anywhere else.
And then you got the other, there is one that's called Pinterest, right? That is good for
Pinterest, to anything. And you start showing your craft. Start telling people about your gift, your craft, your work, what sort of value you provide to the world, and you start selling, because that can be the difference between making $200 a month, as your friend back in Nepal, to making $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and changing your life, and also changing the life of people around you. So it's a game changer. The internet has been a massive game changer for a lot of people, as crypto and NFTs and all those things are being at the moment also.
Yes, and I'm playing that game you told me.
Cool, man, cool.
Yeah, that's great. But that's awesome. I saw like Papo Heto just joined us. I joined Papo Heto, and we talking about helping a lot of people to come to Australia as well. To travel to Australia, and doing all these things regarding to visa. And what do? We guide them to the right people, get them to talk to the professionals, people that understand about stuff. We never say things that we don't know. So we just a good way of connecting people to the right professional. And yeah, but that's awesome, man. It is great to have you here. And I have a very good question for you now that I want you to think about and an answer for us. I know it's gonna have that tiny break between my question and your answer, which is normal. What is, Savio, what is your dream as a traveler or content creator, and on your life as well? What is your dream?
Wow, that's a very philosophical question, man. I might need 1 or 2 hours to think about the answer. But um, look, I love traveling and I love people. I love cultures. I love using my full potential in this life. Life is short, right? A lot of us keep mucking around, wasting time, but at the end of the day, life is short, my friends. So I just want to live my life to the full potential. I want to travel. I want to meet interesting people. I want to provide value to others and add value to other people's lives. And if I can do that through the internet, reaching way more people than I could reach in person, why not? Right? If you ask me, Savio, what's your dream at the moment, like for the next, few years, I would say I want to settle down in Portugal, because I've been traveling for a few years now. I'm sort of tired. Although I was in Australia for quite some time, permanently in Australia, but altogether, since when I left Brazil 12 years ago, I've been traveling quite a lot, and I want to settle down in one place. I want to have that sense of community, that sense of belonging to the place, and stay there. Am I going to stop traveling? Not really. I'm going to be always traveling, but I want to have a home base in Europe. And in my first short-term dream, that's a better answer now, because you asked me about my dream. So my first short-term dream will be to take my parents to Portugal. They have never left Brazil. Right. They have never been anywhere outside, our country. And it's been 4 years since the last time we were together back in Brazil. So in March 2022, they are coming to Portugal to stay with me for 3 months. So that's my short-term dream.
Man, that's beautiful, man. And they are very close as well, right?
Yeah. It's a great country. There is no language barrier.
How many hours from Brazil is that?
7 hours.
7 hours.
From Fortaleza, it's a direct flight. Fortaleza, Lisbon. It's only 7 hours. It's very different from
one flight from. Oh, that's beautiful. It's really
beautiful. We got four direct flights weekly from Fortaleza to Lisbon.
Oh, that's great. So they won't have any problems. Just jump on and
not at all. Not at all. The only problem you're gonna have is when they arrive in Portugal, which bottle of wine you're gonna open for the first night. That's our problem. My dad loves wine.
And it's funny because it's totally different than coming to Australia.
Yeah. It'll be a lot of work for them to go to Australia.
Yeah. It's good, man. That's awesome. And the dream is funny because every time you take a different journey and you learn new things in life, I say next month you're probably gonna kind of change it because because you take the different direction as well, different plans, something happening in life, and you have to change. But what I try to do is always focus on one thing and work for it, memorize it and believe on my dream. Even if it's something that's almost impossible, it's still, dream is free. We can dream. See,
Yeah, of course. Sheila is a good friend of mine.
Sheila, Savio is always an inspiration to do things in a good way. There we go. Sheila's in Sydney. And so we are very, very, very excited about these projects in Mastermind. And then also we are creating, creating a project called, that we've been part of the project called Brasa TV. It is the Netflix, it's going to be a Netflix for like the travelers, right? They want to migrate to Australia. They're going to learn about everything. You're going to go there. You're going to find programs and find, like, say, I wanna see about visas, and I have a specialist there talking about visas, and he's gonna have a specialist there talking about travel, a specialist talking about whatever. So we're gonna have different programs inside the platform, and people go there and access every single topic. And it's from people that understand everything. We do lives on Instagram as well. It's going to be transmitted on the platform. And it's another project that's happening as well. We can talk about that later. And it is great, man. It's so great to have you here. And one last thing I can add, how did you feel about this live? Because it is a live script.
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
funny,
absolutely.
Right?
I mean, I love it, man. I love it. It's been a while since the last time I had a live, an Instagram live in English, simply because my audience it's Portuguese speakers, basically. But I love people. I love talking to friends. You are a good friend. We met about 10 years ago or something, and we met again only later, which was this year in Adelaide.
In Adelaide.
And always open to have conversations. I think it's a very interesting way of sharing knowledge, sharing stories, and helping people some ways to pursue their own dreams. So I'm always open to to take this Instagram live, and if it's with a friend like you, even better. So I'm happy to be here.
That's great, man. Thanks for that. And yeah, that's the whole intention of this live. Like a lot of people, they have no idea what's going on, and then sometimes they go on live, they watch someone live on Instagram talking about something is of their interest, and sometimes I'm on a live here, and then start talking about video editing, and as you know, I do this. And a lot of people that follow me do this as well. So when you start talking about technical stuff, people engage. They go, "Oh, how do you do this on this software? How do you do that?" So it is cool because you're always teaching. It is a kind of, it's cool in a way because you're teaching people stuff, and at least someone's gonna take something from us and learn something. And yeah. So one last thing I can ask for you is, what's your advice for people that want to travel the world, want to create projects, and want to work anywhere? Work online, let's say. You wanna, like you do, you work online, you can travel anywhere in the world, right? So what's your advice for them?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think everybody has a different path. Everybody has a different view of the world. So my personal advice might not be the best advice to a lot of people. However, with the internet, the world is borderless. There is no borders, right? With content creation, you can reach anybody at any time, anywhere. If you can monetize your skills, you can travel and work regardless of the place, regardless of the time, and also I would say regardless of the career path. I've seen doctors, right? I've got a good friend of mine, he's a doctor and he's a digital nomad, right? So he does consultancy for the doctors, right? Artists, another friend of mine, she's a very young girl, she's an artist. So she creates things, right? She draws. Now she's monetizing through Instagram. Okay, so she can basically live anywhere she wants to live. If I can combine that advice with another advice, which is sort of supportive to the first advice, is keep your expenses down. Okay, I don't buy fancy clothes. I don't buy cars. I had a car back in Australia because I needed the car, but I sold it. I don't waste money in things that don't add value to my life. By doing that, I can travel way lighter and a way more conveniently than I would if I had a lot of stuff. So I keep my expenses down. I sort of incorporated this minimalistic mindset into my life, which makes the whole thing much easier. And I sell my knowledge online. Companies pay me quite a substantial amount of money to help them craft their message and structure their stories. And it's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I'll be in Portugal, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep my Australian clients because of the time zone difference. But I'm really excited to find new clients in Europe. You know, you name it: Portugal, Spain,
Man,
England.
you have the whole bag, man. You carry everything with you. All his knowledge, all your knowledge and everything you have is with you. So now the sky's the limit, man. You're gonna be in Europe. Everything's happening there,
That's
right?
right. So that's my advice for people. Try to package your knowledge in such a way people wanna pay something for that knowledge, right? That's the starting point. And if I can add one more thing, Arthur, you know I'm very passionate about storytelling, right?
Yeah,
So more recently, I've been studying about the benefits of telling your own story, the benefits to yourself, the psychological benefits. And I found out a lot of benefits to telling your own story. So I've been inviting people to tell me their story, right? It all started with a podcast in Portuguese in our native language, and now it's taken to another level. So very soon I'll be promoting something online. You're gonna see it on Instagram, and it has to do with people being open or being willing to tell their stories. And I'm gonna help them to structure their stories with the storytelling elements. And
that's great, man.
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun because number one, telling your own story builds confidence in yourself. And confidence is one of the most important things in the world. With confidence, a person with confidence is unstoppable. Okay.
That's
Number
right.
two, stories create connection. Okay. Whenever I'm here sharing my story, some of these 10 or 20 people who are here live with us will resonate to my story. Will identify themselves with my story. And that's great. Stories also create emotion. And you know, we need emotion to live, right? So there are a lot of psychological benefits to story. Yeah, I wanted to say that just in case somebody here is interested in taking part in the project, and I'm open to have conversations, not only in English, but in Portuguese, right? In other languages as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Like it is funny because when I started creating videos, I was a bit shy in front of the camera, but I always been a musician, always been on stage, always played music. I used to be a musician in the northern beaches, playing pubs and stuff. But in front of the camera, to have this confidence and to have these gestures and talk about and not caring about what people are gonna say, I learned on through the process, and I learned through a few courses I did. So when you're in front of the camera, when you want to be confident, you want to be presentable in front of the camera, you just have to be yourself first, not care about how many people are watching. I don't look at the number at the top because I don't worry about, you know what I mean? Like how many people are watching me. What I'm worried about, like when we record a video, you think about there is a friend behind you, talking to a friend, you're talking to someone you like, you're talking to your mom or whatever. So you just feel that, and you're gonna be more comfortable, you know. And it is funny, man. And this project you said, like, get stories from people, and is amazing because it's gonna break the ice, because a lot of people are not vulnerable. They don't open too much. They don't talk too much. And as I did a coaching process with these guys, Fabiano, it is amazing that how good that is, because I know the answers. The answers were all here, but you need someone professional to get those answers with the right questions. So I had to work around myself and write stuff, answering questions, right, and creating tables and this and that to find myself where I want to be. So it is, man, it is unbelievable. So storytelling, as you mentioned, is awesome, man. It's so pleasuring to do, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's about human behavior. So there is nothing more interesting and fascinating and intriguing than human behavior. And as I said before, I love people and culture. So I think I'm on the right place. Um, if anybody wants to have a conversation about storytelling off the record, just DM me on Instagram. I'm always open to have this
Yeah.
conversation.
You guys can go on top there, tap the number there, and you can follow Savio as well. And yeah, so Shayla just text here. It's important to know this subject, and more important, you know, and more important, you know, important points of your story. Yes, so you know important points of your story. That's right. That's right. So man, it is awesome. I love storytelling. I love creating stories. And on this journey of Mastermind, we're creating the story of John. So a story of a guy that had nothing, and then on the 7 steps, we're creating a story of John. He started there, shy, you know, didn't never open his heart, and then start creating stories. So the story of John is going to be his whole success until the last step. That's why we want to create, because that's more engaged with people. They relate more and they understand more about what the project is in a sort of story way, you know, in a fiction, say. And but that's it, Savio. I think that's good, man. I love talk to you. I love to see you as well. We haven't talked much since you left Adelaide, but man, you're always welcome to come here and have a chat. We can talk about any other project or any other thing you want to talk about. When you start your new project about storytelling, just come to us, come to me again. We can do another live. You know, you are always welcome. And the Papo Reto as well, to come and talk about your book, your journey, or anything you want to talk about. And man, doors are open.
My pleasure, my man. And I really appreciate the invitation. Thank you very much to you, Arthur, but also to all the people here involved. Sheila, take care, Sheila, Papo Reto, and all the other people here in the audience. Thank you for the comments. And let's stay in touch. And life is beautiful. Let's just enjoy life, have a good time. And 2022 is going to be the best year of our lives. Trust me.
That's beautiful. That's awesome. And also, we have this thing we say with Papo Reto, like the rocket has no reverse gear. So we are in a rocket mode, always forward, right?
Awesome. Can you see the lights coming in? Can you see the lights? How beautiful
yeah,
is that?
That's beautiful, man. That's great. That's great. All right. So